The Talmud brings many different practices which they wanted to take on after the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash as a sign of mourning, avelut, sign of distress, in order to remember the Churban, the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash, and to constantly remind us that we are in Galut and we don't have a Beit HaMikdash. For example, they wanted to stop eating meat. They wanted to stop drinking wine. The Chachamim were reasonable and they said, we cannot do decrees which people will not be able to maintain. However, there are certain practices which there's absolute no excuse for people to keep in remembrance of the Beit HaMikdash. We all know the famous thing, we break a glass at the chuppah in remembering of the Churban HaBayit, of the destruction of Beit HaMikdash. There's one more example which is brought in the Talmud and it's brought in Halacha, is about a person when he builds a home and he decorates a home, he has to leave an amma by an amma, a certain measurement of unfinished in his house, unfinished building work in his house. Meaning, you fully decorate until you get to an amma, which is 48 centimeters by 48 centimeters, in remembrance of the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash. Since we don't have a sanctuary, we have to remember in our own homes, we don't completely finish it without leaving something to remind us of the Churban HaBayit. If God's home is incomplete, if God's home is not rebuilt, our own homes shouldn't be fully completed. Now, I don't want to expose to you, but you should know that the Rambam says, he rules in his halachot based on his understanding in the Talmud in Masechet Bava Batra Daf Samach, page 60, that to decorate your house kebinyan hamelachim, meaning you decorate your house in a very special way, it is forbidden completely nowadays to be done. The Shulchan Aruch actually rules like the Rambam. You don't do binyan kebinyan hamelachim today. And you need to understand why people are lenient on this. According to Maran Shulchan Aruch in the Rambam, one should not decorate his house like in a very luxury way, in a very beautiful way, because that will be considered like binyan hamelachim. However, the two Rabbi Yaakov Bar HaTurim and the Ramah holds like that. They're more lenient. They hold that so long as you will leave an amma by an amma, you're allowed to decorate your house as fancy as you wish. But so long as you leave 48 centimeters by 48 centimeters not fully decorated, that will be sufficient. So halacha lema'aseh, we try to avoid doing kebinyan hamelachim. But that's for sure that we need to leave in our homes 48 centimeters by 48 centimeters of it unfinished, undecorated, incomplete. That will be zecher lachurban. The best location to put it would be in front of a person's entry to his home, that as soon as you open the door, you'll come across it, and when you leave your home, you'll come across it, so therefore you'll be remembering the Churban HaBayit upon entering and upon leaving your home. That is very important for a person to do that. Now, this 48 centimeters by 48 centimeters doesn't, if you can't do it square, you can do it in different shapes, so long as you leave an area of 48, a reasonable area of 48, which will be the area of 48 by 48. That should be left opposite one's entry. If you can't do it opposite the entry, so if you do it near the entry of the house, that you'll be able to see it when you come into your house. So that's zecher lachurban. Now those people who decorate that bit, even with shapes of the Wailing Wall, or putting pesukim in it, Mishkachech Yerushalayim, in fact that ends up being a nice decoration to the home. So one should avoid doing all these fancy things, even though you're writing Yerushalayim on it, that's not, just leave it unfinished, untouched. Meaning that a person should walk in and say, wait, have the builders gone away? Have you not paid them enough? Why is it incomplete? So it has to really look incomplete for remembering the Churban HaBayit. Rabbi Chaim Malachi says something, I want to share this with you. He says he received from his father told him that he testifies that homes which have been particular to have an amma lama, 48 centimeters, 40 zecher lachurban, they're homes which were everlasting, were homes which didn't have any sorrow, any trouble in the homes, and Chas Shalom didn't have any problems. People who unfortunately didn't leave, it's not a good thing. Reb Chaim Faraji says it's a segula as well. Other than Churban HaBayit, to remember Churban HaBayit, Hashem says, I will make sure I'll protect your home, and you will leave binyan ad ad until Mashiach comes. So Bezrat Hashem, by us doing these deficiencies in our homes, we'll Bezrat Hashem merit that when Mashiach comes, our homes will be super beautiful, super nice, and samachenu kimoti nitanu. You'll let us rejoice as much as we took the stress and pain over the Churban HaBayit.